Karen Gonzalez. I'm an enthusiast and 2% late Gothic architecture. So first of all, most of us, when we hear the word Gothic, we always think of darkness and like monsters and stuff like this. But
I have a question. Why everyone talks about Gothic?
Can you
wait until the end
this?
and then shadow, please.
Well, so everybody has that image of Gothic in their minds, but in reality, it's nothing to related to darkness. In reality, it's light, but like this concept had evolved, and nowadays, for example, in the first picture, you can see it's like creepy and dark, but in reality, it's light. And there are so many styles that in art and even in the same Gothic in architecture.
Good. Sorry, technical difficulties. Well, so first of all, we're going to talk about Gothic as a form of art as a whole, before introducing it to a certain style of architecture. So it was a form of art that started in Europe from 1150 AD to 1375, and in this period they just had Europe had just gotten out of the Dark Ages, the medieval period, so they were starting to, since in that time there was no like advanced like technological advance for architecture or like for anything, so they are just starting to like recover their pace, so they started making these new cathedrals, these new things. And answering to Martha's question, I believe that they are so different because in the darker ages, as I said, there was not like a real improvement. So now they're just like recovering from it, and they are doing this. So it's like the change. And well, since it's still like the time of the medieval period where most of Europe was influenced by religion, this style of art was also influenced by religion. So that's why the most, like the main characteristic are the churches, the cathedrals, and in the form of paintings are the frescoes that exhibit mainly biblical scenes and stuff like that.
In architecture, that for example, in my opinion, it is considered art because of the beauty of its constructions and buildings. And for example, the massive decorations and ornamentation in that buildings, in every single space there is that detail and a decoration, so it's very beautiful.
Well, the Gothic architecture is born in France, and well, it just came out from the Romanesque architecture. These are just like recapitulating what we just learned in class and what the rest of the people explained. So it has Latin cross ground plans, flying buttresses, stained glass windows, pointed arches, and figure columns. Which those are the main characteristic of Gothic architecture as a whole. Doesn't matter if it's late, early, or whatever, they are all going to include something like that. Maybe variations, but like that's the main.
They are the main.
The main. So well, the stages, as I said, are early Gothic, and High Gothic, and Late Gothic. These are some examples of each of the stages, and as you can see, well, I don't know if you can tell, but the Late Gothic cathedral is the one that has more ornamentation. It's more.
This is Westminster Abbey. For example, those two are less spectacular, but then in the Late Gothic, this is created.
Like captures your attention with so many details and all of that. Well, first of all, there are during this time, the late Gothic architecture, it didn't just occur like one type. Like in every country, there was a different style, different method of building. So it expanded across Europe, and several countries around it developed a certain style of the architecture.
As we said in the beginning, evolution, the Gothic has evolved, and in several countries there are different styles, as Andrés just said. For example, we are going to next talk about the different styles of the late Gothic architecture. These are
the styles.
flamboyant, perpendicular, Sondergoic, Isabelline, and Manuelline.
Right now we're going to introduce them. These are, and later on we're going to each one of us talk about the style, where it was formed, and the main characteristics of this style. And also another thing that occurred during this time is that, well, although there was no improvement in the method of building, like all the things that changed were like for ornamentation and stuff like that. No real improvement on the method of construction. Well, first of all, it's the flamboyant style, and it's called this way because the flamboyant, it's like flames, in French, I think, something like that. And in here, it's the method for the ornamentations and all of this. So they replace straight lines with curvy lines, and that resemble flames, or it's more organic. All the rose windows, the arches, everything became more floral and with organic architecture, sort of.
This style is like the main style of the late Gothic architecture, but as well there are other styles, as we're going to see.
Here is an example, as you can see. All of this, it's not formed in straight lines. They are like leaves or like branches, and they are mainly for decoration. And the main point for this style were the facades, as you can tell from that picture. Like the rest of the church is mainly the same, but the facade is a lot different because of this new form.
Then the perpendicular Gothic architecture was from England, and it's characterized. The most distinctive feature of this style is the straight lines, as the name said. For example, it's just as you can see the churches, it's mainly straight lines. And for example, in the roof, the rib cages are spread like a fan. That's also a very specific characteristic of this style. Also, this gives delicacy and lightness that is very special from this. And also, for example, in this style, the walls were decreased because they wanted to make the windows wider. So that makes also the sense of lightness.
Also, like in the perpendicular Gothic, the main point was to make the structure more formal, more like up to kings and, well,
Yes.
Westminster Abbey is where the kings and knights are coronated, and so
As you can see, I'm sorry. As you can see, for example, in this part of the abbey, you can see there are only straight lines and it's very formal, as Andrés said. It's like for royalty. I mean, didn't want to create the sense of curves, so it's mainly lines.
on the other hand, the flamboyant style wanted to represent freedom and liberty, so that's why they dropped the straight lines to represent more of these characteristics. So then the next is the Gothic, or Special Gothic in German. It's what it's called. And well, this happened in Germany and all the countries around it. And well, this changed a little bit the style of the Gothic. They took out the Latin cross plans, and this style was characterized that the nave and the aisles were of equal length, and they were all covered by the same ceiling. So that was one of the characteristics. Also, they dropped the clerestory windows from the top, and they just placed these huge windows that ran across the wall. As you can, these ones, they are the windows that are almost the same size as the wall.
As you can see, it's not like the Latin cross, and it looks different, but still has the same like feeling of highness and heavenly place. As you can see, the altar over there, it's like so long that you can feel that sentiment of.
And also, like they focus mainly on the interior, as you can tell. The exterior looks really plain, but in the interior you can see like the ceiling has special ornamentation, and well, it was all made for the inside. Like the lights, everything was for the inside to like just flow with beauty.
And now we're going to talk about Isabelline Gothic. This was mainly in Spain, and it has a combination of Moorish architecture because of the background history of the Moors invading Spain. So this is like has the influence of the Moorish, but still Gothic. Also, the Queen, when they in order to make these, like for example, cathedrals and buildings, she wanted to to express the power of Spain with all the magnificent and ornamentations of each building. So this Isabelline Gothic, it's very like dramatic because of the objective of the building.
And this type of architecture is really close to the which one did you present? Mudéjar. It's really close to it because, well, after this it was developed in Spain. So it's really I forgot what it was. Well, yeah. So this happened during the time of Elizabeth. So it's about the time of the conquista, the conquer of the Americas. So that's why they wanted to show the power and wealth all across their empire.
And also, for example, a difference between some styles. For example, this style has smaller windows, and not the flamboyant, but perpendicular has wider windows. So that's like different characteristics, but has like the same concept.
This architect, Juan Gauss, this was the one that really created this style. It was the most famous architect in Spain during that time, and he was the one who decided to have the smaller windows, and this really improved the method of construction. Although the churches and palaces were a little bit more with less illuminated than before.
This is the example of the Isabelline, and this is the monastery of San Juan de los Reyes in Toledo, Spain. So as you can see, it's like kind of Moorish. For example, in the dome in there, you can see still it has the pinnacles, but there are like some characteristics, and for example, the brick facade of Moorish. And And then we are going to talk about Manuelin. That this style is very particular, and it's from Portugal, from the 16th century, because this style has like the ornamentation from the sea. That makes like the major difference between all the others, because mostly there were like croquettes and like leaves, but in here it's more like seashells and seaweed and also pearls. For example, it's also this style is based on the voyages of like discoveries from Portuguese sailors. So it's very based on the sea and the discoveries. For example, as you can see in here, it's like coralish like. And for example, in here, I don't know if you can notice, but they are ropes, like ankle ropes. That's like a very distinctive feature. And this is by the sea, so it's like completely according to the background and to the landscape.
So Portugal, they of course did develop this like style, and also this style was more ornamented, more like yes, it was more decorated, and this style was the one that preceded the Renaissance. So that's why the Renaissance started off with these like floral designs, these big ornamentations and these designs. And well, after like investigating all of this information, sorry, I know I have trouble with words. I like to compare like all the different styles to a family, because well, a family is always different. Like they can have different characteristics, different personalities, but in the end, they are all the same and they belong to the same families. Also, these styles, like each one developed with a different type of style and in different conditions, but at the same time, they all stay true to the Gothic style. So that's
so
a
in
little
conclusion, it's a big family, the late Gothic architecture.
Well, not only the late Gothic, like all the Gothic.
Yeah, well,
Maybe she would have agreed now, had she been paying attention.
yes.